Hey there, welcome to Craft Central Designs. Today I'm sharing with you some gift wrapping ideas as well as gift box embellishments. I love to create beautiful gift boxes and gift wrapping for whenever I possibly can. I love to do theme gift wrapping and just really embellish a gift beautifully. And I love to attach something to the gift. Now you can see here I'm showing you some different styles of gift wrapping and different themes. This, for example, would be rustic, but just very simple embellishments. And obviously these can be used as an ornament for next year. And quite simply, whoever the recipient is can just pack it away with their Christmas ornaments and just use them next year. And when they take them out, they'll be like, oh my gosh, I almost forgot about this. This was an awesome attachment to my gift last Christmas, and I'm so happy to have it. And that's exactly what I imagine people to say with the embellishments that I attach to gifts. Now, all of these that I'm showing you are just super simple and look really, really pretty on top of a gift box. And it certainly, to me, is better than just placing a store-bought bow. Now, I am going to show you some bows that I created as well. And yes, I love doing bows. Everyone knows this about me. It just is a nice personal touch. Now, this particular one is a tutu wreath. It's a mini tutu wreath for a young girl. Now, look how pretty this is. Now, you could actually keep this, or the girl or the recipient could keep this and put it in her room or keep it for next year and actually use it as an ornament on the tree. Now, this particular box is of a peppermint theme, and as I mentioned, I love doing themes. We all know this about me, right? But I made a cute little reindeer peppermint theme ornament, and the whole entire box and bows and wrapping paper and everything is all in a peppermint theme. And look how pretty it is. But just having that extra little handmade embellishment, I think, adds something really special to the gift box. So I'm going to show you some of my ideas and some tips and tricks along the way. But first up, I'm going to show you this little tutu mini wreath that I made. It's made with Dollar Tree snowball tulle. Very simply, you just need one roll. I'll always advocate that when you're at the Dollar Tree, that you always pick up snowball mesh of any color because it comes in very handy on different occasions. I've used it quite a few times lately. And these little embellishments, these little sparkly gems, these were also from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to decorate the tutu with these. So little items like this I pick up along my travels whenever I go into Dollar Tree. I found those in the Crafter's Square section. I'm going to be using this pretty pink velvet ribbon, and I'm going to put a little bow on this mini wreath. Now, as I mentioned, this mini wreath could be used for a Christmas tree ornament next Christmas, or perhaps, if it's a young girl, she may just want to keep it in her room, perhaps placed on the wall. But it's very, very cute and super easy to do. And it doesn't take long at all to create this embellishment. And I'm sure it will be received very happily on top of any gift or even attached to a gift bag. So I took this tool. It's a snowball tool, and it's around 6 inches. I believe it's 5.5 inches to be exact. And I just fold it in half. And on the folded edge, I'm going to gather this. And it took me, honestly, maybe 2 minutes to do this. So this is the same method that I use to make tutus, which if you follow my channel, you've seen me do this repeatedly for gingerbreads this past decorating season. But I do like a 5 or 6 stitches, and then I slowly pull it through so I don't knot my thread. And before you know it, I'm at the other end. Now, this comes out to be about 55 inches long. So you're just going to use the whole roll. So just unroll all of the snowball tulle, fold it in half. On the folded edge, just start gathering. Now, if you have a sewing machine, you could do this super quick by just putting it on the largest stitch and doing a back stitch at the beginning so that your thread doesn't come out while you're gathering. Or you could do it by hand. I'm showing you how to do it by hand because, not everybody sews with a sewing machine. So I'm showing you how super simple this can be. Now, I did 2 of these, and I'm going to attach one of them to the outside of an embroidery hoop, a 4-inch embroidery hoop. And then I'm going to do the other one that I do, I'm going to attach to the inside. Now, like I said, this does not take that long to do. I finished this gathering in, I want to say 2 minutes for each of these. And I took apart this embroidery hoop. These very easy to find these at any craft store. Again, they're 4 inches. I'm sure you can find them on Amazon. And you can even find them sometimes at the Crafter's Square section at the Dollar Tree. Now, I have picked these up actually in a pink color in a 4-inch hoop. So maybe if you have something like that in your stash. If you don't, you can actually paint this. Now, I did go ahead and paint mine pink on all sides. Again, that took me a few minutes to do. Now, I'm going to determine here if my gathers are too tight or too loose to fit around this 4-inch hoop. And that's very easily done by just wrapping it around. And if I don't have enough to go all the way around, I just loosen up my gathers like you see me doing here. If it's too big, I just tighten my gathers. Very, very simple. That's why you don't do any stitches at the end after you've gathered everything until you've done a dry fit, if you will. So once I've determined that it goes around very well and fits very nicely, then I will take a few stitches, put those stitches on the end to hold that so that it doesn't come ungathered. Now again, I did 2 of these. This will give me a nice full tutu. This is very, very easily done and super easy to do. And it creates the cutest tutu wreath. This is especially cute for someone who is into dance. The recipient of this particular one, she is... Actually, she just performed in the Nutcracker. So she is a very cute little ballerina, if you will. So she's going to love this. So I always, when I'm doing gift wrapping, I always try and think of the person and maybe what kind of theme or what kind of things that they particularly enjoy in their life. And I try and tailor the gift wrapping to that particular thing that they're interested in or that they just happen to love. Okay, so I painted that very simply. Now I'm going to make a very simple little bow out of this wired pink velvet. This is the prettiest ribbon. I believe I got this on Amazon at some point in time. I think I purchased it last year when I was doing Easter decor. But being that pink has come in and very, very much trending for Christmas this year, I came to realize that I had this in my stash and I was like, oh boy, this is going to come in very handy. So I just created a small bow that would fit nicely and set nicely on that little tutu wreath. So I'm just doing a 2-loop bow because this is a 1.5 inch and I don't want it any bigger than that. Then I'm just going to create a center knot by just twisting my ribbon and rolling it under, and I'm taking a pink pipe cleaner to match my ribbon. And I'm just going to poke that through that center loop, twist it on the back. And now I have a very cute little bow. I did leave a tail on there about 3 inches. And then I'm just going to cut off the excess pipe cleaner because I'm actually going to be gluing this, hot gluing this onto the top of the wreath. Now, you notice that I just used one of the pieces of that embroidery hoop. I used the piece that goes in the center, and then I have the other piece with the little screw on the top. And I'm going to use that on another embellishment for another gift. So it's not going to go to waste. Now, if you have any other type of wood ring that you could use approximately 4 inches, you could use that as well. Maybe if you have some kind of wood ring of any sort. But I thought the embroidery hoop would work just perfectly, and it in fact did. So I'm going to angle my tails here on this bow, and this bow is so pretty on this tutu wreath. Now here's my pink ring that I painted, and now I am going to go about gluing this tutu that I created all around the outside of the ring, and then I'm going to create or attach the other one that I created on the inside. And this is going to create a very full tutu. Now, obviously, this is too long. This tutu skirt is too long right now, but I'm going to trim all that down. But I wanted to attach this first with hot glue. And then after I have that on, then I'm going to trim it down. I ended up trimming it down about 1.25 inches. But you can do it as long or as short as you like. And here we have it all attached. And that took just a couple of minutes to do. I know we're all busy these days, and it's hard to imagine taking on another craft project. But this, in fact, is a pretty quick one. And it turns out to be a super cute topper for a gift. Or you could actually as well just attach it to a gift bag. So I'm just going around and trimming this. Now, this doesn't have to be perfectly straight, because honestly, you will never be able to tell if it's not. So I started off by trimming about 3/4 inch off. And I always take the safe route first by trimming just a little bit off until I determine exactly how it's going to look. And I can always go around and trim off more, which is exactly what I did. So once I had this initial piece trimmed off, then I decided, okay, I need to trim it a little bit more because I wanted it to stand up like a tutu. Now, if you remember, and I'm going to show you here, what I did with my tutus for all my gingerbreads is I separated those 2 layers of tulle, and it suddenly becomes very full. That's the beauty of this snowball mesh. It is amazing to work with. And as you know, that's what, $1.50 now? And that's a pretty inexpensive tutu wreath we're creating here. Okay, so I did the outside one. And now I'm going to attach the inside one the very same way, but now just on the inside of the ring. And again, doing that with hot glue, making sure that how it fits in there. If I need to gather up my tulle a little bit more, or if I need to loosen it, because I wanted to, of course, go all the way around that ring. So now you can see I'm just attaching it. And now once you have this on, you're not going to see that wood ring any longer because the fullness of the tutu is going to hide that. But just in the event that it could peek through, that's why I thought it was best to go ahead and paint it pink. So just going along the edge here, pressing it in. Be careful not to get burnt. I did a couple of times while I was putting this on because I wasn't being careful enough. Obviously, I should have had my little silicone tool here, but it wasn't within reach, so I just kept going and attaching all of that on the inner ring. And again, this took me only a couple of minutes to do, but just be careful because this is tulle and that hot glue will seep right through the tulle. So I go all the way around. By the way, I started my second row at the same place that I started my first row. Now, you don't have to worry about closing up where it meets because you'll never see it. Anyway, it's just not an issue. So now I'm going to go about trimming up my second tulle layer. But all I have to do now is just pretty much equal what I trimmed down on my first layer. So that was basically my guide. I just go around, quickly trim that up. And then all I have to do from here is just pop a few little sparkly gems on there just to give it a little bit of sparkle and shine. And then I'm just going to glue my bow on there. But I also added a hanger, a teardrop loop hanger. I'll show you that here in a minute. But I used a pretty little sheer pink polka dotted ribbon for that. So now they have the option to hang it up either on the wall or their whatever personal space they want to place it. And then also, or just put it away as an ornament for the tree next year. You could do both. So now I'm just trimming everything up, and then I'm going to go around and just pull that tulle apart and just arrange it so that it's really nice and full. And that's the beauty of this snowball tool. You can see me doing it right here. And this is going to just camouflage that wood ring. But like I said, if it should show through, it's pink, and so what? It's not a big deal. So I decided, I guess, to trim a little bit more. And again, this just doesn't take that much time. And if you keep your tulle, your tutu skirt shorter, you'll find that it stands up really, really well. So shorter rather than longer, but take your time and determine exactly how long you want it. It doesn't take that long to do a second trim. Okay, opening up all of that tulle to really make this tutu wreath very full. And then I'm going to pop in my little sparkly gems. Now, I would say that this piece took me maybe under 45 minutes, possibly less. It's pretty quick and easy to do. Super cute gift idea for a young girl. And there you have it. Okay, so I guess, am I going to put on the bow now? I thought about wrapping it around with the pipe cleaners, and then I said, no, you know what? This is just easily glued on here, and it's going to stay just fine. Look how pretty that pink velvet ribbon is on there. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to use these little silver, little sparkly clear gems. Oh, they're so pretty. And I use my craft tweezers when I use these little gems because they're just really hard to handle with your fingertips. So I want to say maybe I placed 10 on there, just here and there, and just, balanced it out all over the wreath. I just take a dab of Aleene's tacky glue. I take my tweezers and I just drop it right down into the glue. And I kind of place them here and there in between the layers And you can already see the little sparkle that it adds. This was a very cute touch and super easy to do. If you don't have any crafting tweezers, I recommend that you purchase a set. You could get these at the craft store or you can get them on Amazon. And they come with all different types of ends to them, or points, or different ways in which to use them. They're very handy, and I always pull them out whenever I am placing small little tiny items on something. So they will be a definite asset to your crafting supplies or tools. So I'm continuing to drop my little gems into here, and I still have to put a hanger and glue that bow on. Okay, done with that. Now here's that ribbon. It's just a very narrow ribbon. It's a nice little sheer, pretty ribbon that I got in the sewing department at Walmart. Love their narrow ribbons. I believe it's an offray or offray. I'm never sure how to actually say that. I just created a teardrop hanger, glued it at the bottom, and I'm just going to simply attach that with hot glue right at the top of my wreath, or where I determined the top of the wreath to be. Pop that right on there. Now, when you put it on your gift box, you could just tuck it down. If you don't want that hanger to show, just tuck it underneath. If you're using it for a gift bag, you can actually attach it by that hanger to the gift bag. So that works out really, really well. Okay, so now I'm going to attach my bow, and this is the last step of this very simple project. I'm going to put some hot glue on the back of there, open up my loops, make sure it looks pretty. I angled the tails of my bow. You could dovetail if you like. I like the look of an angled tail. And a pop-up blob of hot glue on the back of there. And pop it right at the place where I attached my loop hanger. I'm going to press that down, make sure that it's sitting nicely. And that's it. That's as simple as that. And now you have a very, very pretty embellishment for a gift. Now, isn't that just super cute? And now you're adding a super cute attachment to a special gift. I love that. Okay, moving on to the next one. Now, I love to attach little different types of wreaths to my gift boxes. Not surprisingly, because I am such a wreath lover. So I love, as I mentioned before, to attach things like this to Christmas gifts. And they can put them on their tree immediately, whoever receives them, but then pack them away and then take them out next holiday season, and they'll be really happy to have that beautiful gift that you created for them the Christmas before. Now I'm going to use this sparkly frosty eucalyptus from Hobby Lobby, but I was showing you an alternative for another eucalyptus there. But this was very easy to find at Hobby Lobby. In fact, they still have little pieces left over in their clearance aisle that I noticed. So I painted my embroidery hoop green. Now notice this is the other half of the embroidery hoop. Now these little eucalyptus pieces, they bend very easily around this wood ring. So I'm just placing some hot glue and attaching them. Now you'll notice that there's going to be a lot of empty spaces. Sorry, my hand's a little out of frame there. In between, but we can attach individual leaves all around that and fill that in very, very nicely. So I'm going to go around, and I tried to choose a green that coordinated as best I could with that eucalyptus. Now, that eucalyptus, as I mentioned, has like a frosty, it even has some little kind of glittery chunks on it, so it has a bit of sparkle to it. So it's really, really pretty. Now, you could use other greenery as well. Oh, sorry about that. Concentrating and my hand came out of frame. I will be back here just a second. You can use any kind of greenery to do this. Doesn't have to be this frosty eucalyptus. There's all kinds of Christmas greenery out there that you could use. Obviously, you're going to use something that's a little bit pliable so that you can bend it around the wood ring. But use anything that you like. If I hadn't used this, I would have used some other type of greenery. And in fact, I still might do that. But I'm showing you this one so that you could have the idea, so that you could attach something Christmassy to your Christmas gift box. And this really dresses it up. Now, this is beautiful for any style of Christmas decor. Everything from farmhouse to rustic to traditional. Any type of decor, this would be fine for. Now, you're going to notice that I have that ribbon lying there on the table. That's a red velvet 1-inch. Now, I did make a red velvet bow to go on this, and I also attached a little teardrop hanger with that satiny cord that you see lying there. But I also did it with a white velvet 1-inch ribbon, and oh, it is so pretty. And I am going to show you that. But it creates more of a neutral look with the white and the green, if you prefer that. I mean, everybody has their own taste. Maybe you like things a little more subtle and natural with whites and burlaps and the greenery. So you do you. You can do this in so many different ways. I'm just giving you the idea to use the embroidery hoop for your base. Attach your greenery, attach a pretty bow at the top. That little screw piece there offers a great place to wrap the cord around. And then that's going to be completely covered up with the greenery and by the bow. So after I put on my initial pieces, I decided to just take apart the other pieces that I had, the other stems, and I just took the leaves individually and just positioned them around that wood ring. And I filled this in very nicely, and it just was so pretty. And now, possibly you may want to put more on this. Maybe you want to add some red pit berries, just something subtle to place in between the leaves. Or you could add some very small holly berries. That would be pretty as well. Now, I chose to keep mine plain, but very easily you could add some red touches to this. You also could add some white berries if you want to keep it very neutral. So I'm trying to give you all kinds of ideas here, but this little attachment to a gift box and this ornament, which in actuality it is, has many options. So, think what you would like to do for yours and who is receiving it. What is their taste? What is their preferences? And you can make it accordingly, and it will be a little personalized touch to your gift box. And I love the idea of that. You've heard me mention multiple times on my channel that I love the idea of anything personalized anyway. And so, and I love the idea of wreaths, which we all know. But I love the idea of ornaments and the fact that, the recipient takes them out year after year and thinks of you and how you took the time to make that very pretty little ornament for them. And it's just kind of, the sentiment just kind of goes on from year to year. And I love the idea of that. So as you can see, I'm just gluing my individual little leaves. No, this did not take that long. And again, I realize we're all busy, but this is not a timely project. It's very, very simple to do. And I just think it beats just putting a bow on the top of a gift. Now, again, if you have a gift bag, any of these little wreath ornaments that I'm showing you can all be attached to the gift bag because you're putting a teardrop hanger on every one of them. I'm showing you a few today, and makes it super easy to just attach to a gift bag. How many times have you done a gift bag and you put everything in and you think, wow, it really would look nice to have a little something else. Well, this could be that something else. Yeah. So yeah, really turns out pretty. And I absolutely love these little eucalyptus frosty leaves. I bought a whole pile of these eucalyptus stems, knowing that I would have multiple occasions to use them. And now I have found yet another in creating this little wreath embellishment to go on a gift. Now I just fill that in very nicely, closing up all of the gaps. And I do glue my leaves on the inside ring facing forward, as well as on the top. And I even pop a few in on the side, just so that I have a nice full piece. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that up. And you can see how I'm filling in all of that with my leaves. And now the fact that it's green, it's not really going to be, it's not going to be showing. See how pretty that is? And you can see there, I glued a lot of leaves on the inside. So that completely camouflages that green wood ring. Now I'm going to take that satiny cord, love this cord, and I'm going to cut a nice piece, maybe about 8 inches or so. And I'm going to pop it through that little screw holder there on that embroidery hoop. And then I'm going to tie a knot. And I'm going to pull the knot through and place it right there where that little screw piece is on that embroidery hoop. Just like that. And I'm going to put a dab of glue right there to hold that. So now I have a pretty hanger to dress up this little wreath. I just push it right down in there. Now for the one that I did with the white velvet, I just put a little narrow white cord through there. Now I'm going to use my little bow maker for this, and I did a 3-inch bow. This is how I do it on my bow maker. You could do this a finger bow, I think they're called, or you could do like a figure 8. You could do an awareness ribbon bow, and you could wrap the center, however you want to create a small bow. So I did this out of the red velvet. I wanted to see what it looked like with the eucalyptus greenery, and it looked very pretty. But there was something that told me I just wanted to do that in white velvet, and I wanted to keep it just so simple and pretty. So you could do it in red, you could do it in white, or whatever bow you like on there. Completely up to you. Now again, you could put some kind of red embellishments on there to add a little bit more red to that. I would go with something really small, like a pitberry, or a very small, some type of hollyberry, if I could get the words out here. But that's how it turned out. It's simple, it's pretty, and it would just do very beautifully on a gift box or a gift bag. And I think I'm going to show you here what it turned out like with a white velvet ribbon. I got some white velvet ribbon at Hobby Lobby. There it is. I love this. See the white hanger? Love, love this white velvet on this eucalyptus with the little frosty leaves. Oh my, I just think it's so pretty. Now, can you not imagine that on a gift box or a gift bag? So, so pretty. Okay, now I'm going to show you something. I have this braided cord. They sell this in the ribbon department at Hobby Lobby. It comes on a spool. But if you don't have any of that handy, you can use that macrame cord and just braid it. It's so simple, just like you braid hair. But I had mine on hand, and it was around 12 inches. There we go. 12 inches. I cut a 12-inch piece, and I'm going to make a little wreath out of this. And it's going to turn out so pretty. Like I said, if you don't have this on hand, maybe you've purchased this trim on a spool from the ribbon department at Hobby Lobby. Maybe you have some left over. It's great for like boho projects, by the way. I think I wrapped a lamp base with this, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think that's what I did with it. Yeah, it turned out so pretty. Okay, back to the project. So I'm just going to glue this closed, and I formed a wreath ring out of it. Now, if you do the braided cord, you could do the very same thing. Just shape it in a ring about 12 inches long. So now I have that hot glued closed, and now I'm going to decorate it. And I have this twine, this jute twine, but it's in like a more of a light color. So I'm going to use that. And now I'm looking for some type of ribbon that I'm going to use. I had this beautiful ribbon that I just loved from Hobby Lobby, and I've been dying to use it on something. And it's got these sage colored Christmas trees on it. Has a little bit of a sparkle, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to use this on this wreath. So I think it's a 1-inch ribbon. You could use any ribbon that you like. You could use just a simple jute cord twine bow with some loopy loops, but you could shape them. I'm doing one here because I'm actually adding this to my bow. So I'm showing you here what you could do. I just create a little loopy bow. I think I had 4 loops on each side. I left some tails on it to trail down on the wreath. And then I'm just going to close that with a little piece of 26 gauge wire. And then I'm going to take that ribbon and create a base bow with that. And then I'm just going to add some little embellishments to the center of the bow, which I really love to do even on a bow for a gift box. And I am going to show you that later, a couple of different ideas for that. Now, all of these ideas are hopefully something that you could create with materials that you already have at home without having to run out to buy anything. That's pretty much what I did. I didn't even step out the door, and I was able to just access all of the little bits and pieces of this and that I had already in my craft stash. So I just created some toppers for my gifts by just doing that. Just use what you already have. Now I created a little 4-loop bow. I want to say the loops are around 3 inches in length. I don't want anything too big or too small on the top of my wreath. I attach my little twine bow to that base bow with a dab of glue. And I'm just going to trim up my tails with a little angle cut. And I have some bits of greenery there and some little baby pine cones. I have a couple different types of greenery, and I'm just going to begin attaching them to the center of this bow. Now, this turns out so pretty. You could do this on a small scale such as this, or you could do it on any large bow, and I'm going to show you that coming up here, how you can treat it almost as though it's a centerpiece or a wreath, and you can add greenery and embellishments in the center of the bow, and it's just like a beautiful centerpiece on your gift box. Yeah, and whoever receives it, they can keep this. That's the beauty of it. So when I attach it to any gift, I make sure I do it in a manner that it's not glued to the gift. I wire it or I use a pipe cleaner, and that way they can easily get that off of their gift and keep it for, whatever they want to do with it, for the tree or whatever the case may be. Even the bow can be saved. Okay, so now I'm just sticking in my little greenery pieces in a manner that I think looks attractive. And I'm putting some little tiny baby pine cones. And then I have this little pieces of this little greenery. It looks like little, kind of like miniature little baby seeds. That's the best way I can describe it. But it adds another texture. See that? Can you see? And I just add that in around, and it really adds something to it. So look at your greenery and see if you have any little pieces that maybe you didn't even want to use on anything else, but they seem perfect for this purpose. Just little bits and pieces. I got these off of a stem of Christmas greenery that I didn't even use them for whatever project I used it for on a wreath, but they were perfect for this because they were tiny and just miniature and fit so well on that piece. So I'm going to take that burlap twine and I'm going to create a teardrop hanger, tying my little knot like I do. And then I'm just going to glue that right to that twisted cord, or that braided cord rather. And this is going to hold very nicely. Just imagine how long you would want that hanger to be, and then just glue it right to the back. Right, I always put a blob of glue right underneath the knot. I just burnt myself there. Yeah, I've done a lot of that lately for some reason. Okay, so now I have a hanger. This is so cute. This is going to look so cute on a tree. Oh, if you had a farmhouse themed tree or just a country rustic kind of a tree, yeah, this is going to be real pretty on the tree next year, or even for a little while this year. Okay, so I had these little baby pine cone clusters. I got them in a package at Hobby Lobby, and they have some pit berries attached to them. And I'm just going to place, man, you know what? Maybe I didn't put those in there. Maybe, you know what? I think I decided on the holly berries, and I put those little clusters of pine cones on the next little wreath, I think. Sorry about that. Yeah, I got a lot of projects going on. I have to try and remember what I did with what. Yeah, so I think I did like 6 of these types of little wreaths all at once. So I'm, still trying to remember, as I do this voiceover, what I put on what. So, okay, so I'm continuing to put on this little bits of greenery here. And I think I just put a few little holly berries off onto this little wreath. So I just put little dabs of glue on the tips of the greenery and pop it in there. And those little baby pine cones, I always pick up a bag of those either during the fall or Christmas, and they're always in those respective departments. Okay, so I'm putting that on there, some glue on there now. I'm going to pop that right at the base of that hanger, right at 12 o'clock. And that looks so pretty on there. Now notice that I didn't put my pine cones straight up and down. I kind of angled them I put two on there, one pointing upward, one pointing downward. I did secure the loops of the bow in the back just because I wanted it to sit exactly the way I wanted it to sit. And that assures that it will do that. Yeah, let your hot glue gun, do all of your finishing touches and make sure everything sits just perfectly on that piece. I love this one. I just think it's so simple and so pretty. Tell me what you think of this one. This would go beautiful on a type of Christmas wrap that's got like a brown background, like a jute colored background. Yeah, this would be really pretty on there, but you could put this on any gift, honestly. And I guess I didn't put anything red on there. I must have decided no berries either. So I guess that was it for that one, but it turned out so pretty. Now, do you guys recognize this ornament from Dollar Tree? I mean, every Dollar Tree year after year has the same ornament. So I had one in my stash, and I had a few, and I stripped off the white fabric and the bells and all that. And all I wanted from it was the base. So it was kind of like a sort of like a styrofoamish base. And I wrapped this one. I didn't think you needed to see me do it with jute twine. A little bit of a heavier jute twine, and then I put a jute twine hanger on it. Super simple to do. You put a dab of glue, put your jute twine in there, and just start wrapping. And then when you're to the end, put a dab of glue, and you have a wrapped wreath. Now, I'm going to make this kind of a rusticy looking ornament. So I'm going to put a 2.5-inch bow on there. Now, I have this beautiful, I don't know what you would call it. It's kind of a burlappy ribbon, but it has this great curling quality to it. I had gotten this at Michael's at some point in time, and I just love it for anything like rusticy or farmhouse. So I'm going to create a little bow here. I'm going to do that in my figure 8 style, and I'm going to create 2 loops on each side. And then I'm simply going to take a piece of wire and put it right down the middle and pull it super tight to scrunch up the center of that bow. And this is going to be the base bow. Now, you could do this type of bow, I guess everyone calls it kind of like the awareness ribbon, I've heard it called. However you want to create a bow, you do that. I liked my bow maker. And then I'm going to leave my tails a few inches long and then angle those on the bottom. Now, again, I'm going to make this like a little wreath ornament. Very simply, I didn't make you watch me do all the wrapping or anything like that, but I'm going to show you how I decorated it and how I put it on a gift wrap paper that I consider to be very rustic. So I'm going to take that jute twine, and I'm also going to use my figure 8 method of creating loops, and I'm going to create a loopy little bow, and I'm going to place that on top of that little burlappy ribbon. I believe that ribbon is like 5/8 inch, something like that. And here, as you can see, I'm just creating that little figure 8. That's the way I do it. And then I put a little bit of wire around the center once I have all of my loops created, and I pull it super tight, twist it, and then I'm going to attach that to that little burlap bow. Now I'm showing you, you notice here, I'm just doing one gift topper after another. I'm showing you this at the onset. If you're not interested in any of these, just simple enough to forward over this part. But just trying to give you ideas, and if I show you all of these gift topper pieces at the onset, then you can determine whether you think you might want to do it. I'm also going to show you how I applied them to gift boxes. So I'm trying to cover all the bases here. For those of you who just want a little bit of a different idea for how to present a gift. I'm a little bit fanatical about that. Unless I'm wrapping a pile of toys for someone, that I don't. I don't do gift toppers for that. But all of my individual gifts for family and friends and whomever, I love to create something pretty for the top gift presentation, no matter when, whether it's Christmas or birthdays or any time of the year. I love to do beautiful gift wrapping, which is one of the main reasons why I learned to make beautiful bows in the first place many, many years ago. Okay, so I attached my bow, trimming up the tails now. Now we're going to have a very cute ornament to go on the tree from this for this year and next, of course, and the ones thereafter. And I love this ribbon because it actually curled those tails off to the side, which, yeah, I really love that. Okay, now I'm going to take some greenery, and this was from a pick from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to cut off little bits and pieces of that. And I'm going to create a little arrangement, if you will, in the center of this bow, and it's going to look so pretty. So I'm just going to cut off some pieces and just position them on there with balance and symmetry. See how pretty it is already? It just takes like nothing to create this kind of a piece. Really super simple, super easy. And it enables you to use up some of your, craft supplies that I have a ton. It's a daunting thought to think about how I'm going to have to pack everything away. But, first I'm going to have to organize it because I tend to make a big mess out of my crafting supplies at Christmas. When I'm in the middle of a project, I don't think about staying organized. I just dig for the ribbon that I want or the embellishment. And the next thing you know, my craft boxes look like spaghetti. It's really, they're a mess right now. That's my project for afterward. And okay, so I brought these back out now. I guess I'm actually going to use them. These are very cute little frosted baby, little miniature pine cones. Super cute with pit berries included in the bunch. So I'm going to use these on this little jute twine wreath / ornament. And I'm going to create those on that piece to look like the little kind of centerpiece to the bow, if you will. So just using hot glue, see how this little wreath is coming alive here. Looks so pretty. And then those pit berries add a nice little touch of red. Now, as well, if you want to just keep the color aspect out of it and you want it to look all natural, you just don't need to include the pit berries. You can snip them off or add, if you have like a little white pit berry, those are very easy to find as well. So now I'm just putting an extra little pine cone in there, just trying to, really balance out and fill in that little center area accordingly. Adding in some more bits of greenery, and then I'm going to again add in that little greenery with the little tiny baby seeds on it. I'm telling you, it's amazing how when you add something like that you think is really not going to make a difference, and then you pop it in there and you go, oh my gosh, that was it. That really finished the piece. And that was true for those little bits that I cut off of a stem that I disregarded on another project, but so perfect for this one. So yeah, that's the way I think when I craft. I keep things thinking I might use that later. This is super cute, right? This would go great on a gift bag. or a gift box, and even all different sizes of a gift box. Doesn't matter. Attach it to the bow, attach it to the top of the box. You can use a double-sided tape if you just want to tape it down. Just don't glue it down, that will ruin it. Okay, so I'm putting my finishing touches on this little wreath, trying to determine if I want to put those other pine cones, and I think that I didn't. Adding in a few more baby pine cones off to the side here to balance everything out. And this piece is just about finished. And I'll show you how I put this on a box. As I mentioned, I got a rustic-y kind of a paper from Hobby Lobby. I actually love many different styles of decorating, so I tend to try to get different types of paper. And as I mentioned, I always wrap the gifts, trying to suit that gift wrap to the style of decor that the recipient likes. Look how pretty that is. So simple, but so pretty, right? Tell me what you think of this one. Again, very simple project. Now I'm going to show you, this is another variation on that. If you know someone who likes coastal decor like me, I wrapped that same piece from Dollar Tree with a light colored, cream colored cord like that. Put a hanger on it with that same cord that I used on the other little wreath, and I put some shells on it and a couple of little bows at the bottom. I added some little tiny half pearls and a little bit of ultra fine white glitter. But see how you can take something like this, and if I knew somebody, this happens to be my ornament, but if I knew somebody that loved coastal, and that's not hard to find here in Florida, and I made a wreath, 2 little sand dollars, 2 little scallop shells, and 1 little baby starfish with a bow, some glitter, and tiny half pearls on the scallop shells. And you have a beautiful ornament to attach to a gift. Just giving you another idea there. I'm going to do a peppermint candy themed gift box. So I thought, let me put something in the center of the bow. So I've made these reindeer before on my channel, but I'm going to show you super quick. And when I tell you, these take under 10 minutes, if that, to make. So you're going to need pipe cleaners. I'm going to use red. I have 3 straws there. I used 2 striped ones, 1 polka dot. Those are from Hobby Lobby. I have some of that satin cord. That's going to be the hanger. I have a little pom-pom with a tinsely pom-pom. That's going to be the nose. This is a Rudolph head, if you haven't figured that out by now. I'm going to glue the straws together, putting the polka dot one in the center. Of course, I'm going to mix my patterns because you know that's what I do here on Craft Central Designs. And then I'm just going to hot glue my little pom-pom at the bottom of the straws. That's going to be the nose. And this, of course, is like the candy cane theme, the peppermint candy theme, only it's on a reindeer head. And this makes the cutest ornament for the Christmas tree. Okay, so the straws all glued together. It took like a minute. I'm going to put that pom-pom at the bottom, which represents, of course, Rudolph's nose. I have a couple of, I call them Google eyes, those plastic eyes. Any craft store has them. Walmart has them. I'm going to use oval ones, and I tilt them a little bit and make the reindeer look a little bit goofy because I love to do that. And I'm just going to hot glue those on with my little eyes protruding a little bit from the edges of my straws. Do you see how quick and easy this is? And what a cute gift topper this makes. Okay, how fast and how quick and easy is this? Now, you could put whatever you want at the top of the head. You could put a bow. You could put holly leaves like I did. You could put a jingle bell, doing my little knot here for the hanger. I'm just going to glue that to the back of the top of the straws. Turn it over on the back. Little bit of glue. Glue down the knot. That's done. 1, 2, 3, and this ornament is made. It's that easy. Like I said, you could use a jingle bell here at the top if you wanted to. Or you could put whatever. You could put some little bits of greenery. Give that Rudolph a nice little headdress there. Now I'm going to take a pipe cleaner, fold it in half, and leave one piece a little bit taller than the other for the antlers. And I press that together, and then I'm going to take a pencil, and I'm going to spiral the antlers. Now, you could use that red and white striped pipe cleaner. They have those at Hobby Lobby. You could also use a brown pipe cleaner. You could use a camel-colored pipe cleaner, whatever you like. If you want to put something on the antlers, you could do that. You could put little teeny tiny jingle bells on the antlers if you wanted to, here and there on the antlers. You could put snow on the antlers if you wanted to, faux snow. Whatever you like. You're going to create 2 of those, obviously, and do each one of them the same. Spiral it around the pencil, and then we're just going to hot glue those right to the top of the straw. And I'm just going to shape them, probably shape them more once I get them right on the piece. Hot glue them down, and then I'm going to put something at the top. And this is where I mentioned either put greenery, you could put jingle bells, you could put a bow. I often put a bow at the top of these, but this time I'm just going to put some holly leaves that I got in a package from Hobby Lobby, and I'll show you that here in a second. Now, if the antlers are too long, you could just trim them down accordingly. Once you get them on the piece, you can determine what length you want them. I did trim my antlers down just a bit, but I wait until they get them on to determine, how I want to do that. And now I have the cutest ornament to attach. Actually, I attach it to the center of a big, beautiful peppermint candy themed bow that goes on a gift box with peppermint candy themed paper. It's very colorful, very pretty, and oh so cute. Now this ornament's cute for anybody's tree, if you ask me. Yeah. So I have my little holly there. They come in a package, and that's all I'm going to put at the top of mine. Usually I put bows like I mentioned, but this just seemed to be just right for this piece. Now I put those green holly leaves on there because there's a lot of green in the paper, and it's just going to pick up that and match beautifully with my paper. And here's my little peppermint reindeer ornament. Seriously, under 15 minutes I created that. Tell me what you think of this one. Okay, and that one's done. And wait till you see how cute it is in the center of a bow. Super cute. You could line these up and do multiples in like no time at all. Just like a little assembly line. And you have the cutest ornament. All right, here is all of my ornaments together. And these are going to be my gift embellishments. Look how pretty. I just love that one. And then we have also as well this one. Okay, let's get busy on the actual gift boxes. Okay, now I'm going to do a kind of a rustic theme gift box. And I'm going to use striped Celebrate ribbon. Gorgeous. My favorite ribbon in the world is this ribbon. I'm going to create a beautiful bow. It's that like burlap color. It's going to go beautiful with the wrapping paper. And I'm just going to create a big, beautiful bow. And I'm going to create what I consider like a little centerpiece in the center of the bow. And it just turned out so pretty. So I'm going to create my bow in the same fashion that I always do. I fold over my loops. I do have bow tutorials if you want to consult one of those. It's on my playlist. I did one for Christmas bows if you want to see that. Now I'm piecing a ribbon together here. Forgive me, but I realized I didn't have enough. I needed one more loop and I happen to have a little piece, but use this as a tip. If this ever happens to you, you could piece it together, but do so in a place where it's really not going to show. And in this case, it's so not going to show. It's going to be on the underside of the bow. So I just matched up the stripes. Use this as a tip, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to do that and piece that together with the other piece that I have from another spool. Now I'm going to have to go shopping at Michael's. I'm waiting for them to have, like once a year they have this sale that you buy like 2 and you get 3 free or something crazy like that. So see how that's not going to show. And I'm going to have to stock up on this particular ribbon. I have it in just about every color that they sell. I can't recommend this ribbon enough. It is clean and beautiful and fresh looking and so compliant. Beautiful fabric, wired ribbon, beautifully constructed ribbon. I absolutely adore this ribbon, as you can probably tell by the way I'm describing it. But I created a base bow with 4 loops. I want to say my loops are probably 12 inches in length. So this is going to be a nice size bow. And that's going to be my base. Now, I have this mesh tubing from craftcentraldesigns.com. It's very similar to the red and white striped one that you've seen me use on other Christmas decor. It's soft, it's fluffy, it's pliable, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous on this particular project. This is great for if you're a lover of rustic Christmas decor. I suggest you look on craftcentraldesigns.com for this. So I'm going to do a loopy bow, 3 loops on each side. And I'm going to put a little white pipe cleaner around there, squeeze it really tight, twist it in the back. And I'm going to add these little mesh tubing loops to my bow. Now, I love to add texture and different elements to my bows. Probably, if you follow my channel, you know this already, but I think it looks especially pretty on this gift box. You could use any type of mesh tubing if you had a white and you were going along with this particular theme, or even if you're doing something for a traditional colored gift. You could add mesh tubing. It's really, really pretty. Now I have a 1.5 inch Celebrate burlap. I love their burlap ribbon as well. Not a huge Michaels fan. You don't hear me talk much about Michaels, but when it comes to this Celebrate ribbon, oh my goodness, do I love it. So I created a 4-loop bow. Now, again, this type of theme, I'm going with these textures because they're very characteristic of the rustic. So I'm using a white burlap 1.5 inch wired ribbon. Now, you could use a burlap ribbon as well. You could use they also Celebrate makes a 1.5 inch striped you could use that as well. So I'm going to cut off the excess pipe cleaners on the back of there because I'm going to put all of these together, sandwich them together, matching up the centers. And then I'm going to create a little greenery arrangement with, like, I call them sugar berries. They look like they're covered with sugar, but very easy to find those most anywhere. I'll show them to you here in a minute. And I'm going to align all of my bows up, and I'm going to use a full-size pipe cleaner, twist it in the back. Now I can use those pipe cleaners to wrap around whatever ribbon that you have on the box, but I think in this case I used twine. So I can just use those pipe cleaner tails, so keep them on there, because possibly the recipient may want to keep this bow because it turns out really gorgeous. And if you put it in a box by itself where nothing's placed on top of it or crushing it, you could take it out the following year, use it on a Christmas tree, use it on a wreath. This could actually be a gift on top of a gift. Think of it that way. If you create something beautiful like that, you know, people take care of it. Think of this on a wreath. It would be beautiful. All right, so Hobby Lobby has this beautiful pick, and I've been wanting to use it on something all season. I absolutely love it. It has these pine cones that are like bleached, I guess, and they're so pretty. And I love the greenery that it's attached to. Look what happens to this bow when I start adding greenery and these light colored, I guess they're bleached pine cones. That's what I'm guessing. So I'm going to start arranging my greenery on here, and I'm going to do a little bit of a dry run first because I want to see, like, how long do I want it? Where do I want to place it? How do I want to place it? So I'm going to just do that part first, figure out where I'm going to attach it, but everything is kind of erupting, if you will, from the very center of the bow, which is a weird way to put it, but that's essentially what they're doing, is coming right up out of the center of the bow. I think this turns out absolutely exquisite. And again, this is a great way to use up, you know, whatever kind of greenery and little embellishments that you have. And it's going to be obvious when you give it as a gift that you created it. And it's going to be appreciated that you took the time to do that. So I'm pretty set right here. I love it right like that. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing in my pieces. And then that's going to be the primary part of my adding of florals, but I can add a few little embellishments around that if I want to. Now also remember, if you have that type of greenery with those little needles, if you will, those greenery needles, you can always trim those down a little bit if you feel that they're too full. So I'm just putting a little dab of glue at the base of the stem, and I'm just attaching it, and it just grabs right onto that burlap beautifully. I am really loving this rustic look. Now I don't create a rustic tree, and I really don't have rustic wreaths, but I love creating them because I am just a lover of that type of look, as well as anything traditional. Now I'm just deciding here, what else do I want to place in there? I felt it needed a little bit of something. So I'm dissecting this piece a little bit and adding just little bits more of greenery. See how that's filling in the center there? Just treat it like it's a wreath or an arrangement, and think about balance and symmetry. Now I'm cutting some of the needles off of there just because I felt they were a little bit too long. You can do that. You can trim up those types of greenery pieces. Those pine cones go so beautiful with that rustic look, the color of them. So I have here some holly berry stem from Hobby Lobby, deciding if I'm going to put add the red to that or not. We shall see. But it's definitely an option. The red looks gorgeous with that burlap color, doesn't it? It would look beautiful. So I'm, trying to introduce all kinds of options for you. If you did this bow in any other theme, anything with red stripes or peppermint or anything like that, you can still add to the center of your bow. You can add little ornaments to the center of your bow. You can add a cluster of jingle bells to the center of a bow. That's the beautiful thing about these big bows, is that you can create them like you're creating a centerpiece. All right, here's those little sugary berries that I was talking about. Now, to me, that makes them a little more subtle when they have that. It looks like sugar to me, but I guess they're supposed to look like snow. I'm not really sure. But I love them because they're a little bit more of a muted red. They're more almost like a dark red or a burgundy. And that's why I preferred them as opposed to the bright red ones. And I think they just look gorgeous on this bow. So I'm dissecting my stem a little bit, bending my berries to go this way and that way to really, add to that bow. And just add as many or as few as you like. But you can see what this does for this piece. I added some trailing down. Look how pretty that is. With the burlap and with the other ribbons. Oh, it's just so pretty, right? Tell me what you think of this. And again, I realize we're all busy. This does not take a long time. If you are not ready to take on this type of bow, here's the piece that I was talking about with those little teeny little seed-looking pieces. And again, I didn't use them on other projects, but look how beautiful. These little pieces look stuck in this arrangement in this bow. So pretty. What was I saying before? Yeah, I forgot. Oh my gosh, I got sidetracked. Yeah. I'll think of it. Okay, so I'm going to stick all of those in and finish up all of my arranging of this. Poking those in here and there, just doing, oh, look how pretty. Yeah, see how that makes a difference in that piece? So pretty. Yeah, I wish I could think of what I was talking about, but yeah, I'm human, you guys. And 100,000 things on my mind here. I am the busiest person right now. Yeah, just like everybody else, but yeah, I have a lot of responsibilities in my life, so tending to everything and still trying to do all these beautiful decor ideas for you. And I think that's pretty much it for this. I just think it's just so beautiful. Tell me what you think. Love it. Yeah, and I'll probably think of what it was I was talking about after I finish this voiceover. That's usually what happens, right? You think of it later. Okay, tell me what you think of this bow. Remember, just attach it with the pipe cleaner so that the recipient can keep the bow. Okay, so this is that paper. It's kind of a eucalyptusy looking color, kind of a sagey greenery on there. So I think this one's good for rustic. Now I wrapped the box, as you can see, just crisscrossing it over and over. I attached it on the back and just kept wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. And then you could see that this has a center. Now you can wrap a little piece of wire around there to collect the center if you want. If you want to do it like this, it's up to you. Now I'm creating a very loopy twine bow. Now this would be great for any type of farmhouse or rustic type of wrapping. But I did quite a few loops. So, if you want to do this, I just do it in kind of a figure 8 fashion, and then I hold it in the center with my thumb and my index finger. And this is just jute twine from the Dollar Tree. And it has a lot of squiggly look to the twine, so it looks nice trailing down the package with those squiggly tails. So I just use a little bit of 26 gauge wire. And I'm going to leave tails on there just because I like that look of it resting on the box. And I, in fact, wanted more tails. So I cut a few more pieces, which you can do and still add that to the bow. And then I believe I just took another piece, which I think I'll show you, and just wrap the center. And that will give a finished look. Now, you could keep it that simple. You could just keep the box that simple if you wanted to. If you prefer, just a more simple wrapping, you could do that. So now I think I just hot glued those extra tails on the back because I'm going to be wrapping the center of that loopy bow with another piece of jute cord. So that will just, help to collect it within that bow. Now you could add a sagey colored greenery, or maybe with Christmas greenery, there's all different shades of Christmas greenery. Now, something very green you may not want to put on there. Something of a real green, if you will. But choose something more of sage color. So now what I'm doing is what I suggested before. I'm just wrapping the center of this. And this is going to finish off a very simple loopy jute twine bow. Now you could keep it this simple, or you can add to it. But this is, the simplest thing, but I'm just showing you how to do it. You can add a gift tag to this, maybe a wood gift tag. They sell those at Hobby Lobby. You could even paint on or use a paint pen to paint a message and put the recipient's name on it. They have these really cute wood tags. I think that's a great idea to attach to this. Now for the center, I'm just keeping that all collected in the center. Now you can do yours, of course, however you want. I'm just giving you an idea just for something a little bit different. Now I can glue my little twine bow on top of there if I want to, or I can keep it that simple. All kinds of ways to decorate a box. But I think it's, a really great idea to add a personal touch to your gift wrapping. And here you have a loopy bow, and that looks very cute. You could add a pine cone to that if you wanted to in the center. Or you could add a wreath. What do you think of that? You could just use double-sided tape to tape that down. Look at that one. Oh, yeah. So pretty. Fits perfectly on that theme gift. Now, that's pretty too, but I would add the one with the white velvet because there's white in that paper. You could actually add that eucalyptusy one to any type of theme by just adding the ribbon that suits that particular gift box. Now for the loopy bow, I just put a dab of glue there and glued that on. All right, so here is that peppermint theme gift. Now I have this absolutely gorgeous peppermint themed ribbon. This was a real RG ribbon from craftcentraldesigns. One of my absolute favorites. If you're wrapping a good size box, I think that a 2.5-inch ribbon is a great choice. When I wrap gifts, I use hot glue. I don't know about you, but that tape dispenser falling on the floor constantly gets on my last raw nerve. So I use hot glue. And it's easy to detach when you're opening the gift with the hot glue as well. So as opposed to tape. Okay, so now I have it my package wrapped with my ribbon. And this is a pretty gift wrap from Hobby Lobby. I also wrapped a huge box with that gift wrap for the Toys for Tots charity. And I put a huge white bow on it. I mean, it was like the size of a washing machine box. I mean, so yeah, that was a chore wrapping that. But it was so pretty, and I put a big white bow on it. So yeah, I'm always up to something for sure. Okay, so now I'm going to create a very pretty base bow that's going to go on this gift box. Now I'm just showing you again how to do kind of a themed gift wrap. Everything on here, from the paper to the bow to the the bow embellishment, is peppermint themed. So I think that's just such a fun thing to do. So I'm creating my bow in the same fashion that I always do. I know what I was going to say back there. Oh my goodness, it just hit me. If you don't want to do a bow like I do it, that's what I was going to say. Oh my gosh, I knew it would come to me. You can use an easy bow maker or a bow dabber, or just create a bow any way that you like. But yeah, this is my style of bow making, and this works just fine for me. I've been making bows like this for, oh my goodness, 30 years. Yeah, so I find that it creates the most beautiful bow. If you're really interested in learning how to make bows like I do, check out my playlist. I have a number of bow tutorials for Christmas, maybe learn, or just for the future. I'd suggest that you give it a try. I make all of my bows in my hand, no bow maker needed, and I love it. I make everything from bows for wedding church pews to gifts to bow toppers for Christmas trees, for wreaths. Oh my goodness. To have a bow making skill is so amazingly helpful and advantageous. All right, so I'm going to take this Hobby Lobby ribbon. It's a shimmery white with a peppermint theme edging. And I'm going to make another pretty bow to go right in the center. My loops for my base bow were around 12 to 13 inches. And this is going to be a little bit smaller because I want that to rest on top of the other bow and still show the bow underneath it. So I'm going to make these like 11 to 12, maybe something around that. And I'm going to make them the same way that I always do. Pinch in the center, fold over my loops, twist my ribbon before I fold over to make the next loop. This way I always have the right side of the ribbon facing up. Now I'm going to put a center to this with that reindeer, but I want to do one more thing. I'm going to make it a little bit fuller by putting one single loop on top of the two loops. And this is going to fill in the center a little bit better, and then I'm just going to insert my little reindeer ornament right in the center there, and I won't have any gap if you get what I mean by that. Basically, I'm just filling in the center of the bow by creating an extra single loop to sit on the two other loops on each side. I'm going to take a pipe cleaner, wrap that around. White, of course, because I always match my pipe cleaners as closely as possible to my project. Twist it in the back. I'm going to leave some tails. Around 10 inches is good. I do angle my tails, and I'm going to attach that to my other bow that I created, and this is gorgeous together. That candy cane striped ribbon for the base bow has the same shimmery white background that the white ribbon has with the edging. So it really coordinates so beautifully. Look how pretty that is together. Oh my. And I'm going to leave tails. When I attach those two together, I center up, I match up the centers, is what I wanted to say there. And I put a pipe cleaner around there and twist. Now, to attach this to the ribbon that's on the box, you can use a piece of wire or you can use a pipe cleaner. You just feed it through around the center of that bow and attach it. Now, if you want to attach it like that, or you could tape it down, just putting a little bit of double-sided tape on the bottom of the loops and just place it on the center of that gift box. You could do any of those. Totally up to you how you want to do that, but attach it in a way so that the recipient can just take the bow off. And again, keep it. Maybe they want to use it on their tree next year or on a wreath. Whatever the case may be. I fold my loop down, my hanger down, so that it's not poking up. And then I just put my reindeer on there. Oh yeah, so cute. Now, you can use a double-faced tape to put the reindeer on, so they can also pull the reindeer off, put it on the Christmas tree, and still keep the bow. So I guess I must have elected to use a pipe cleaner, and I wrapped it around the antlers, which you can easily snip that pipe cleaner off. And yeah, that's what I did. I attached it with a pipe cleaner. So that's an option there. I showed you how to do it. But you could also just use double-faced tape. They make a Scotch tape that's double-faced. You could use that. And then I do tuck my little hanger down so it's not poking up. So it looks more like an embellishment, but in actuality, it is an ornament. All right, so that is our very cute bow that's going to go on top of this peppermint candy themed gift box. And it is so pretty and so cute at the same time. Very, very colorful. You can imagine this underneath the Christmas tree to be so, so pretty. Love Rudolph's long nose poking down from the center of that bow. And here you have it on top of the gift box. Tell me what you think of this one. And like I said, you could just use a double-faced tape to tape that down. If you have any pipe cleaner tails in the back, yes, you could wrap it right around that ribbon like I'm showing you. Just all depends on how you personally want to attach. But just do it in a way that is not permanent when it comes to the bows or the wreaths. I'm just loving this one. Tell me what you think of this. And again, this is a quick, awesome way to decorate a gift. Love it. Okay, One last look at this beautiful rustic bow centerpiece, if you will. So pretty. With the burlap, you can add a wreath as a part of your gift. And then you can add the braided wreath on that same gift, or even on a traditional one. Doesn't matter. Super pretty. So easy to make. And then we have this one, which I think it's prettier, as I mentioned, with the white velvet, especially on that paper. And I'm showing you different options. And there it is. I love that. Yeah, something about velvet ribbon. So pretty. I made a double bow there, two loops on each side. Wrap the center with the velvet. So pretty. Love that one. And this is the box that I put the tutu on. So it's just going to be double-sided taped on there. You could pull it off very easily. And it's on a neutral paper, which is very pretty. And then we have the peppermint one. So pretty. Tell me what you think of these. I hope you were able to get some ideas for gift wrapping. Maybe you picked up some tips along the way, or maybe you learned how to make a pretty bow. Okay, until next time, you all take care.